Hi everybody, welcome to Stashblaster Quilts. My name is Maria and I am here to help you make more quilts in less time with less stress. So anyway, welcome. It has been a heck of a couple of weeks here at this Botanica house, as is usual it seems lately. But things have moved along and so I'm happy to share them with you today. So I have I told you that I would pull together the slides from my trip to Williamsburg. And then when I looked at how many slides I had, it's going to take a couple of these sessions to show you everything. So that's kind of fun. So I will walk you through part one tonight. But let's start with the quilt, the big one, the giant thing here. You'll notice a lot of the houses are missing. That is because I have pulled and matched up the roofs with the buildings. So now I'll be able to stitch them when I'm on my retreat. I have also gained some ground with the castle that goes in the middle. I'm going to rotate this over so you can see a little bit better. But I don't want to make anybody seasick, so I want to do it that way. Okay, so here's the castle. Oh. So I've done everything except, everything's appliqué on except this side of the big tower and the 3 triangles on the top. But other than that, everything is appliqué down. Yes, I still need the water for the moat. And of course I need windows and I need the chain for the drawbridge, chainsa for the drawbridge, and that kind of embroidery stuff, as well as the various Pokemon, etc. But the base part is almost done. I keep going through my water options in terms of my fabric, and I haven't really liked any of them yet. I may actually go out and buy a piece of fabric for this, just to do the water, but we'll see once it's all done and pressed what it looks like and how it's coming along. Now, I did have somebody ask me, let me switch so you're looking at me square on again, how I'm keeping this relatively flat while using it while I'm traveling around. So, in my office in the basement, we have these shelves, and they have a piece that goes up and down like this that sticks out a little bit on the bottom. And I kept standing up underneath that and cracking my head with it. So I took some pool noodles. I get them at the end of the year when they're like $1 a piece, and I will roll quilts on them. But what I did is I slit them and I put them over that hanging down part so that if I stand up, I hit pool noodle instead of hitting head. So I had a couple little pieces in farther distances that I don't have a problem with most of the time. I taped them together, and then what I've been doing is putting my circle on and then rolling it up kind of like it's a burrito. Well, not a burrito, but kind of like, in that I have it all nice and snug all the way around like this. I could just stick a pin in. A pin would do the job, but then the outside might get dirty if this fell out of my bag. So what I've done instead, let me angle this other camera again, is I took the cheapest of plastic films. Okay, you don't need anything expensive. And yes, I'm sorry about what my desk looks like. And I just put it on like this. And when I wrap it around, the plastic wrap sticks to itself, and everything stays nice and neat and clean and flat. So I don't have to worry about getting any creases in it or anything strange happening to it. And I don't have to iron it every single time I want to work on it. So that's how I've been handling this middle part. I am going to be taking this on my trip. I am not taking my hubby with me this time. He gets to stay home and hold down the fort, but I'll be going to Orlando. I thought I was going to Dallas, but I'm going to Orlando. And I'll be gone for a few days. So I'm taking this, plus I'm taking the houses that have a special occasion. So like this one's Easter, okay? So I have my roof and I have my house. And although I probably won't get a chance to sew these before I go because I leave on Sunday, I can just embroider the door with my Easter theme. or the front of the house, making sure I keep my 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, you know, and around all the way around. I could wait until it was pieced in with other pieces if I wanted something that went over the edge onto the street, like if I wanted to put a bicycle or something like that. But since birthdays, anniversaries, Hanukkah, Christmas, Easter, those things are just going to be decorations on the doors, this is something I can work on the plane, and it'll take very little thread and very little energy and effort to do it. And so I'm hoping to get several of these done on my trip, because everything's going to be carried in that one little bag that I have, plus this, and I'll be able to work on it while I'm there. There's not a huge number of them to do, so I'm hoping to finish them before I come back. Someplace I have a template with little circles of various sizes. I need to dig that out, because that would be perfect for doing the wedding rings that I want to do for anniversaries. But some people for birthdays are going to get hats or, you know, something. So probably a birthday cake or a hat. I haven't, you know, thinking about who it is, I might pick one or the other. Or I might just do all of whatever seems easiest once I figure out size and all that. So, so that's what I'll be working on there. So I'm working on prepping for the retreat. So that's what I'm doing with the houses, and prepping for my trip. Now, I still have a bunch of roofs that need to get put on houses. I just got the blue and purple finished. I still have red, which is the 70s, because we had some days when the low was in the 70s. It was a crazy year. And then all the colder ones, the browns and the grays and the white. So a lot more of these houses, when I get a chance, are going to be in my box ready to sew. But I haven't gotten that far yet. So that's what's happening with the quilt. Okay. Is there anything else I want to say about the quilt itself? I don't think so. All right. So Williamsburg. So I went to Williamsburg for the 4th of July. Now, I have my phone on, so if you can't hear me, I can't have the volume on or I get a huge feedback. If you can't hear me when I'm speaking, I'm hoping that there's somebody who's on. Yep, it looks like there's a couple of you viewing right now. If you could let me know that you can't hear me, I would appreciate that, because then I'll change what I'm doing a little bit. So, okay. We are going to do... camera. So hopefully now you can see me in the corner. I'm waiting for this to come up because it doesn't seem to want to. Hold on. No, you're not. You're getting me on camera. PowerPoint with camera, but you shouldn't be just seeing me. You should just be seeing PowerPoint should be back there. So hold on a second. Okay, so the slideshow should be showing behind me. Dagnabbit. Yeah, you should be looking at a picture with lots of quilt squares. Okay, so we are going to cheat the system here. I am going to switch back to camera 3. And I'm going to aim the camera at my screen. Sorry, I don't want to make anybody sick, but this might. Hold on. See what that looks like. No, it shouldn't be on. Okay. So let me do this. Slideshow, view show. Oh, it doesn't want to stay. Hold on. I'm going to get us there one way or another. Oh, for Pete's sake. All right, let me get it off camera 3. I don't want to make anybody sick. Okay. Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Let's see if this will show you my screen. Yep. So yes, this is from my light here. So I am going to go ahead and turn this off. Whoa. All right, and see if I can come in a little more. Unfortunately, because of the delay, I have to like move it and then wait to see what it does. There we go. Okay. So, can you hear me? Judy, can you hear me? Good. All right. All right, let me show you. This was the Great American Birthday Quilt exhibit. I took this off the website. It's actually going to be on until the end of the year at the Visitors Center in Colonial Williamsburg. And so they had people from all over the country send in squares representing their feelings about America. It is also going to be moving to the Greater Williamsburg Sports and Events Center, but right now it's at the Visitors Center. And you can see there's a central beam right behind this sign, and there's quilts on both sides of it, as well as on the floor. So I have a lot of pictures here, and so there is some overlap when I was taking the photos, but I did not get a lot of super detail on a lot of them just because there were so many. So this was out front. So this is the Great American Birthday Quilt. This is their representation of it. And these are all flowers. They're silk flowers. They're not real, but they're all roses that make up the quilt pattern, which was kind of cute. I don't think you can see this. It says, Visit Williamsburg is bringing the nation together, one stitch at a time, through the celebration of America 250 and Virginia 250 with the creation of the Great American Birthday Quilt. This collaborative project invites participants from across the country to craft a lasting tribute to America's story. Led by Steve Prince, Director of Engagement and Distinguished Artist in Residence at the Muscarel Museum of Art at the College of William and Mary, in partnership with Visit Williamsburg, the quilt celebrates unity, creativity, and the American spirit. So William and Mary, if you don't know, is right on in Colonial Williamsburg. There's a main street that goes like this, and then Colonial Williamsburg ends, and then there's like a town square, and William and Mary is right around the town square. So it's right part of the Colonial Williamsburg experience. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, so I started here. Now, some of the blocks are amazing, and some of them are not so much. So I tried to see if I could get every square into the quilt. But you can see, like down here, they just tacked on a square, which is the corners have flopped forward and stuff. And these are just strips of fabric that they didn't even really sew together. The assembly part was not the important part, apparently. But some of the pieces that came in were gorgeous. This one up here with the lilies and all of that is really nice. And then this one actually has Cape Hatteras Lighthouse in North Carolina, 1890. There's a lot of lighthouses. Here's another one. Some people used pre-printed things, like here's the Statue of Liberty, but some are completely freeform. So like this one is a doctor's kit. So there's the medicine bag. It says RSBMD and a caduceus, and then a stethoscope. So it's a wide variety of things that people put on this quilt. So here's the second part. I'm just going to leave it on for a few seconds so you can take a look before I move on, because there's so much to see. This one they put in upside down because the bird is facing the wrong way. This one to me looked kind of like a penguin and an axe until I realized this is fire, and that's a fireman's helmet. So at first I was a little concerned somebody chopped the head off a penguin, but no, it was just my interpretation was off until I stood back and looked at it a little bit longer. This one is 3D. I don't know if it was intended to be. These are just folds of fabric tacked on. I'm not sure why, other than the hearts over it, maybe just being that they love fabric because they're a quilter. I don't know. It was a kind of a strange thing to see. I think this one, I'm not sure if it was sideways because that's a flamingo, and then there's a shield, like a police shield. So I'm not sure which one is cockeyed, or if I'm just not understanding what they were trying to say. I am going to keep talking over this because I don't want people thinking that the sound isn't working. Judy, I'm not sure. I think they said they wanted a minimum of 250, but I don't remember seeing anywhere how many there were, and I'm not taking the time to count them. Because like up here there's 3 pieces, but they're obviously intended as sashing, but there might be another place that I think is sashing that isn't. I'm not sure why it skipped there. Hold on. Oh, maybe that is the next one. Yep. Okay. All right, so this is the next one. I did like that this bunny's ear did flop over, because bunny ears should flop over. I did try to find the number of blocks on the website, but they didn't say it there either. There were a lot of themes like this that was more negative stuff, dollar sign, a smokestack, that kind of thing. But most of the blocks were very positive. I thought this one was beautifully done. It's an eagle and it's all pieced to make the outline. And there's another one over here that's very similar, but it's not the same, so you can tell that they did it differently. It wasn't a printed. They used to call them cheaters. Now I'm trying to think of the word, and I can't think of what it is. So like this, you can tell this is just one piece of fabric, and I just turned it into a block. There's nothing wrong with that. I do think some of them, like this one, was probably done by a child. It looks like it was crayoned on. And then it looks like a kid tried to write his name there, but I can't read it from here. I think if it was children that did this, or some of these, I think it's wonderful. And this one was paper plate. And so they just stitched around the paper plate. That's what that ring is there, after the kid had drawn on it. We looked at this at the end of a very long day. So I didn't spend as much time as I would have liked, but I also had a hubby who was tired too. So, I mean, he would have happily let me stay however long I needed to stay, but I didn't want to keep him too long. But again, upside down, sideways, not as much care as I would have hoped was taken with some of these. This was kind of interesting in that they took the photos and tacked them down onto Dogs of War. That's what the ribbon says at the top. I did get a few up close, so that's the one that was right here. Paws of Honor. I was also happy to see that there was, over the course of me trying to take these photos, I had to dodge other people taking photos. There were probably between 5 and 20 people there every time we went by, so there were people stopping to look. So I was glad to see that. Oh, there you go. I don't know where you found it. I looked. 2,000 from 50 states, another 1,000 to fit them all together. I think the one that the 1,000 they're talking about are the little strips that they made. I don't think that they're actual blocks, but all right. Some of these were just gorgeously done, I have to say. I don't know that I would have put in the hundreds of hours knowing I wasn't going to get it back ever. So I might be a little selfish there, I admit it. But you can tell some of these were a real labor of love. I like the flag sewing machine. You can tell that we quilters have a thing for our machines. I thought this beach scene was done really well too. Here we are. So Jamestown, Williamsburg, Yorktown is called the historic triad, and that's where I was to see this. So that was kind of nice. I thought this one was gorgeous. It was very, very well done. It was pieced beautifully. I assume the machine did the embroidery. I thought using the pants here and the bandanas was really cute, but using the pant pocket. This appears to be an eagle on a cannon. I can guess that that's probably hard to see where you are because the cannon and the eagle are the same color, and it isn't clear what it is from a distance. I had to go up and look at it a little closer. I wanted to get a good look at this. This was actually colored on. I folded this back, and it stayed just long enough for me to snap the picture, and then it flopped back down again. But somebody drew this and colored it, and then heat set it, it looks like, because it's drawn right onto the fabric, which is always an interesting idea. Just like these tassels are up here to add a little 3D. If you don't know, when you go to any of the colonial type places where they have reenactors, you don't just cheer saying hooray, you yell huzzah. So that's why it's huzzah, 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 shout. Um, and so it's kind of funny to see people who don't know what to say, and all of a sudden everybody around them is going huzzah. Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jiggle the screen like that. I actually like moved my hands like I was doing the huzzah myself when I did that. Panel. Pre-printed panel. That's the word I was looking for earlier. I'm so glad it came to me finally. It was fun to see things like Oklahoma, etc. So you could see that there was a lot of different states that participated. Yeah, Red Fair 2 says, huh? Very cool. So this flag is upside down. I don't know if that was a mistake or if there's something written on it which would indicate that it's supposed to be upside down. SpongeBob. And it doesn't say anything special, so I'm not really sure what they were trying to say there. I'm not sure what they were trying to say by having it say Tums here. Whether they were saying after they ate the whole bowl above it that they needed them. Could be. But that was kind of funny. I think that ship in that upper left-hand corner is done particularly well. Sadly, a lot of the most intricate blocks, like this ship, were super high on the wall, so you couldn't really see them particularly well. I also like how they did the water on this one, and then they appliqued the birds on top. This was a really nicely done landscape too. So they have the printed fabric with the buffalo, and then they appliqued the water in and around them, as well as the grass and the sky above. Yes, Judy, that's why I was wondering whether the flag was supposed to be upside down or wasn't. It was hard to tell because I couldn't get close enough to see. It looks like there's writing on the white, but I couldn't see what it said. So I don't know if the entire thing was upside down like some of the other blocks, or whether it was intended to be upside down and they had it the correct way. Some were very hard to interpret what the intention was. But like here, this block is obviously sideways because it's a sewing machine. So what was intended and what happened, I don't know. I did like the light coming through here so you could see a little clearer what was going on. And I like our little rebels here. Well, actually, those are red coats, but that they're biracial. Not biracial. There are two races there. I did like that they put the National Park Service logo on there and showed hiking and a picnic table and somebody riding a horse. I thought that was nice, especially since the Park Service has taken a hit lately. I just wanted to do an up close one of this one because I thought it was an interesting way to do the elongated flying goose to create the pinwheel effect at the same time. That's it. So that was just from the American 250 quilt. And I have a whole bunch more photos of all the embroidery and then the other quilts that, okay, you can see me, but now I can't see me. Hold on, there we go, okay. So they have quilts on display, which are interestingly done in, hold on, let me turn this light back on. This is the one that you saw reflecting off the monitor. There we go, that's a little better. they have it in a room that has motion sensors, so the lights are super dim until somebody walks in. So if you're standing and looking at the quilt for too long without moving around a whole lot, it'll shut the lights off on you. But it does help keep the quilts from being as exposed to light, which means they're not going to take as much damage. So I have clothing, embroidery, and then the quilts still to come. So that'll be another 1 or 2, depending on if I can get this thing working. I don't know why. When we tested it, it worked great. So I'm going to have to cover all this up and then have my son, the tech guy, come and see if he can figure out what the problem is. But I have to hide all the stuff for his quilt first. But that's okay. I've done it before. I can do it again. But anyway, so I had a wonderful time looking at that. The fact that that many people sent in, sent in so many blocks. Like I said, wide variety of skill, but that's perfectly okay. I was more disappointed in how they were attached together than I was in the blocks themselves. But that, what do I know? It was probably some college kids just trying to get it tacked together enough to slam it up on the wall. So I don't know if this is going to travel past the end of the year or if they're going to be doing something else with it. But I don't think the people are getting their blocks back, and that's kind of a shame. I would kind of want mine back after it had been part of this big thing. But that might be a little selfish of me, and I can appreciate that. I just hope that nothing bad happens to them, that they don't toss them or something when the 250 is over. So anyway, okay, so let me make sure I saw all the comments. Upside down flag, yeah. Water techniques. Yeah, there was some really well done blocks in there that used a lot of very interesting techniques. I am keeping my original photos, and so that'll give me the opportunity to zoom in a little bit better. But I tried to think about how long would it take if I tried to crop to make sure that nothing was repeated and blow things up as far as I could, and so maybe make each one of those pictures into like 3 pictures. And the time was part of the question, but also we only have the hour, and I didn't want to spend multiple days on this one project. So I kind of made that executive decision. If you are interested in more of this sort of thing, let me know. I used to do more of the quilting inspiration in architecture and art and that kind of stuff, but I didn't get very good feedback about it, but that was a while ago. So if you'd like more of that, maybe I just don't do it as much as I was doing for a while there. I particularly take a lot of those kinds of photos when I'm vacationing versus working. But even when I'm working, if I'm in a cab and I see an interesting building, I'll take snaps of that. So it's kind of hard to turn off my quilter's brain. So I'm always looking for those sorts of, oh, I'm sorry, everything's itchy. Anyway, if you'd like more PowerPoints that work, hopefully I'll get them so that they work. I just don't know why this one didn't. But I can certainly do more of them, one way or the other. Even if I have to do the cheater way that I just did it now, having it aimed at the screen, which is not the best, but it's better than nothing. I will do that for you. So probably next time I will do the quilts, and if there's time, if it looks like there's time, I'll do this in either 1 or 2 more segments to complete the Williamsburg trip. So that's what's going on with that. All right. All right, I do want to check something real quick here, because my clock has stopped. So I just want to make sure that we're good. All right. Just so you know, I'm going to be on a retreat in 2 weeks on the 19th, but I will leave the sewing space and do this live stream with you. I may actually do it from the sewing space and show you around and stuff if people are cool with it, but I don't want to put people on camera who aren't comfortable with it. Not everybody likes to be on camera. Um, I actually don't like being on camera. I like being in front of people and talking to groups and things like that. So when I can be in front of a quilt guild and doing a trunk show or talking about organizing or things like that, that feels really good. This is kind of weird because there's almost zero feedback. Yes, there are sometimes comments, which is always helpful to me. But it's also one of those things where um, I'm not getting that immediate feedback, and that tells me a lot. So let me see here. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if other countries do things like this. It'd be interesting to find out. I wonder if, Australia does a national quilt. I mean, if you remember the AIDS quilt that covered the entire mall, that was amazing. I only got to see pictures of it, and I wish I could have traveled and seen the whole thing. But the technology didn't exist that exists now, because I would have loved to have seen it with a drone, because a lot of the ones were in the middle and you couldn't get to them as close. They put breaks in, so they tried to do them in like groups of 4, but it was still 6 by 3 foot sections or something, so you were still quite a ways away. And phone cameras were horrible at the time, and regular cameras ate a lot of film. So there's not a lot of really good photos from that, but the overhead shots from like the Washington Monument that they took of the whole thing was amazing. But yeah, do other countries do this? I don't know. It would be an interesting thing to look up. And at some point I might. I don't know when, if I'm going to. It's not going to be this week. I can guarantee you that. But overall, I found this really kind of fun. I wish I had taken more close-up photos than I did, but again, it was a matter of time, and I was exhausted too. So I'm not blaming Scott for it. I'm not saying it was all because he was tired, because he would have sat there and waited for me however long it took. But I was tired too, and I was hoping that we would get back to it again, but it just never quite fit in the schedule with the things we wanted to do while we were there. So there you go. Anyway, so that's the America 250 quilt. I don't know about you guys. It has been so hot every day and so sticky and everything else. I have not been as much in a sewing mood as I would have liked to have been. Plus, I've been really busy trying to get ready for all these trips. I have this trip coming up, and then I have 2 more this month. I have 3 next month. I have 3 the following month. And they all need different presentations made and everything else. So I've been focusing on doing that because I have to, right? I'm going places and I'm talking about things. It would be nice if I was ready to do that. But I am looking forward, because the beginning part of the year should be much slower, should be much calmer, and I should be able to spend a whole lot more time doing stuff like this. I also am hoping to get some more time to work on the orphan block quilt that I'm doing. I had much more planned to do than I'm going to be able to do. It just has not worked out for me with illness and everything else. But I have made some small progress on it. I hope that you guys are doing well with it, and if you have, I would love it if you sent me photos. Oh, I don't have my address out. Hold on, let me get the address out. Oh, I gotta switch my view because I'm on the delayed view. Here we go. All right, so okay. So any questions, or if you want to tell me more what you want to see, you can write me at mail@stashblasterquilts.com. And that's been the same since day one. So I hope that that you did enjoy this. Okay. And I thought a new a new chat line had popped up. I'm sorry. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will be, like I said, putting together another PowerPoint for you from the rest of the photos, and it'll be another one or two depending on how many there are. There are some where I need to do some editing to put some things together so that they make sense. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done as well in advance. But I have to say, I've been doing this for a while now, twice a month, but I have 130 or something episodes in. So that's a lot. So I just thank those of you that have stuck around from the beginning. It's wonderful. I truly appreciate that. And I think that having this opportunity to sit and chat with you is good for me. I hope that you enjoy it, whether you're doing it while I'm on or if you stream them and you just have them as background noise, some other time. The fact that you watch, I appreciate it very, very much. So I'm going to end a little bit early today, so I'm not just droning in your ear. But again, thank you, and I will see you in 2 weeks from the quilt retreat. Either I will stick around with the ladies if they are willing to be on film and show you what they're doing, or if not, I'll get you from my room or the lounge or something. I'll have some place that I'll try to do this from, okay? If it doesn't work, because you know what I'm like with technology, I will be on the 2 weeks later, but I will do my very best to be on live in 2 weeks, all right? So take care, have the best of times, try to stay cool, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. All right, bye-bye.